So we got the story about Baker Mayfield sees a UFO, and then I said, give me a break. I don't want my quarterback saying that. And Tom Brady shouts me out on Twitter and says, Colin, how do you know I haven't seen an alien? So these quarterbacks are all after me now. I will say this. Okay, I will say this. Every time I hear about this, I've always had a theory, Neil, that some of this stuff is space junk, and I've seen some of that stuff. And if you get away from light pollution in small towns, you see a bunch of stuff. And some of it could be our government that doesn't want to give a heads up to other governments or us working on military projects. That is my theory. Is that nonsense, or is some of that true?
It could be all of the above. I mean, so why would the government want you to know if it's experimenting on top secret aircraft, for example? So they're not going to want you to know. And by the way, in the 1960s, there was Project Blue Book. A subtext of the Project Blue Book, which, by the way, was the investigation of UFOs, was, by the way, keep reporting them if you see them, because it could be a Russian experimental aircraft.
Right.
And we were in the middle of the Cold War. So if you crowdsource the monitoring of the sky, then you can be way more effective than just simple regional military observations of what might be happening up there. So sure. And by the way, if you see a UFO, it just means you didn't know what it was. That's what the U stands for, unidentified. So it's not a problem if your quarterback sees something in the sky and they don't know what it is. What else are they going to call it but a UFO? So give them a break.
All right. I'll scale back on that.
I will get back to your quarterback. I read the description, and I think it was at night, no brighter than twilight, and he saw a streak of light come down. It looks like it landed in Town Lake or wherever it was in Austin. And that's what meteors look like they do. Okay, so a bright meteor, a shooting star. There it is. UFO dropped straight out of the sky. Yeah. There it is. We stopped and looked at each other and asked if we each saw it. That's good first check to see, because you have multiple sources of data. Very bright ball of light going straight down out of the sky towards Lake Travis. Okay, so what he should do is go look at what meteors look like. And most of them just look like sort of simple shooting stars, but the occasional bigger one is called a bolide. We have special words for them. And they flash through the sky. It takes just half a second. It flashes through the sky, and at the end, sometimes they explode. And so they're really beautiful, and they're called bolides. And by the way, amateur astronomers, who, by the way, are really good at looking at the night sky, do not have a higher fraction of what they see identified as UFOs, because they are highly trained in what they look like, because they spend their whole lives looking up at night. So I think if there were aliens visiting, the amateur astronomy community would catch it immediately. And by the way, amateur astronomer means you are an expert at the night sky. Unlike amateur neurosurgeon, you wouldn't go to that person for if you had an ailment. But if you want to know people who know the night sky like the back of their hand, they're called amateur astronomers.
This has been very, very good. By the way, I only have 1 minute left.
Oh, okay. I'll talk fast. Go.
Okay. Is there any new data on UFOs that has emerged, or is it the same thing for the last 100 years?
I'm not auzed to tell you anything. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just, I knocked out my headphones here. So all I'm just saying is that I think we are all in a position to crowdsource images of visiting aliens. And so I can't wait till people start producing images or an alien itself and bring it into town. And then you don't have to try to convince people with anybody's eyewitness testimony. That's all. And same with Bigfoot. With Bigfoot, you look up Bigfoot on the internet, the best evidence is home shot video from 1967. Is that your best evidence of a big hairy ape crawling around in the Pacific Northwest? No one else that saw him with a smartphone. So let us ask each other these other kinds of questions about, if it really were aliens, what would it be? We would see them. Or if they didn't want us to see them, we wouldn't see them. And what's this about crashed flying saucers? What? That they navigate the depths of intergalactic space and they come to Earth and then they crash? I don't want to meet those aliens. Okay? Give me the ones that know how to navigate.